Okay, let's go. We're live. How exciting. Well, welcome, Alex. This is, as I was mentioning to you, this is my first webinar hosting, so bear with me. It's a very different experience for me. I'm used to hosting in real life events, so I think after this, I can transform into the world of virtual events. So
Virtual, yeah.
yeah, 100%. So, obviously, anyone who's dialed in who doesn't know me, I'm Rose. I head up events and partnerships for Quickfire Digital. Alex, can we start by you introducing yourself and a little bit about the SparkLayer?
Yes, I'm Alex. I'm the sales director at SparkLayer. So I look after all of our commercial team and strategy. And what do we do? We're a B2B system that sits on top of Shopify, BigCommerce, and a few other e-commerce platforms. And we basically, like I said, layer on B2B functionality. So if you're wanting to sell to other businesses and you need the different functionality to do that, then that's what SparkLayer provides.
Okay, for Grandma Rose here. So, when you say like that layer, can you just explain that to me in the most basic terms possible?
Yeah. So basically, we take off some of the information from the e-commerce platform, so things like images, SKUs, inventory, things like that, and then they stay exactly the same on the e-commerce platform. But then we literally layer on top of that page a little bit of B2B information. So we hide things like the B2C price, the B2C add to cart button, and then we literally layer on our own B2B price and our B2B add to cart button, so that you can have a slightly different experience for your B2B customers. Um,
Fantastic.
Behind the scenes, I'm sure that the product team are probably going like, "Oh no, there's so much more to it than that." But that's the layman's version, I think.
Layman's version works fine for me. Yeah, I've been in e-commerce for a couple of years now, but I'm still learning every day, and so yeah, that's really helpful. Thank you. Cool. Let's start things off then. So the B2B landscape is undergoing quite a major transformation. Can you
Mm.
paint a picture of what's happening?
Yeah, absolutely. I suppose historically B2B transactions have taken place offline. So if you think like a customer would typically email or send a sheet or call someone to process an order for items that they wanted. So they'd have no visibility of stock or anything like that. They just put an order through over the phone or however they used to do it, basically. And there's been a bit of a two-way shift. So we see this in both senses from our customers. So there's B2B customers who basically operated that way before, but they're now starting to do that online, and that's in part because buyers expect them to. It's become more efficient and it's more cost effective to run a business that way. The second part is, which is kind of exciting as well, is that there's a ton of really successful D2C brands who have like done amazing things through all of the different growth of e-commerce, and they're starting to diversify channels as well by adding B2B to their sort of mix of channels too. So they often naturally drum up demand from businesses who want to stock their items. They've seen how, good they are on from a direct to consumer point of view. So there's a kind of convergence happening where more B2B transactions are happening online because that's how B2B buyers want to shop these days. But then also super successful D2C brands are now getting natural demand to stock in brick and mortar stores or independent retailers or whatever it might be, and then they're also finding that wholesale is a successful channel for them as well. So it's a very exciting time in the B2B space.
Yeah, it sounds it. And actually, so one of the next questions was going to be about how B2B interactions are changing and what new expectations do buyers have. But actually, you've answered quite a lot of those there. And like you
Yeah,
say, kind of going back to the old days, it would have been you pick up the phone, you make a call, you have your preferred suppliers, etc. And I think things have really changed since then. And the fact that it's becoming so seamless, being able to do it all online is going to really
yeah,
change the landscape.
definitely.
Um, so, next question is kind of I guess if we're looking at that kind of that B2C experience going into B2B, they're kind of, B2B buyers are increasingly looking for the same level of personalization and convenience
Definitely.
they experience as consumers. How can businesses cater to these evolving expectations?
Yeah, it's a really, really good question. And it's definitely something that
I
a lot
didn't
of
write the question, so you can answer.
well, Rose, you didn't have to say that part. It's
I'm
a good
sorry.
question
I should have,
still.
yeah, I should have taken the credit. No, we've got a great
You could
team
do.
working behind doing all the work.
But yeah, no, really, really interesting question because it's really a case of what can B2B businesses who are coming online learn from B2C. I was actually having this discussion on a different webinar the other day, but having an easy to navigate website is one thing. So you want to make it really straightforward to be able to replenish stock, ensure you have things like previous order history, get invoices available. And those things are actually a little bit more unique to B2B than B2C. But really the basics of the site and stuff that like Quickfire must speak to customers about day in, day out are as important as anything else. So is it easy to find products? Can I easily view my cart? How easily can I check out and add in my payment details? Like, how can I make that as frictionless as possible for my B2B customers to make that purchase, just like I'm looking to do from a B2C point of view? Stuff like, is it obvious to do if I have a question? Like, are the FAQ pages different for B2B customers than they are for B2C? Those are things to consider as well. And then you've got like probably even more basic stuff. You would probably talk about this far more than I would, Rose, to be honest. But like, are descriptions and images such that I can make a buying decision without having to speak to anybody if this is my first time visiting the website? So all of the things that are like general principles that you would discuss from a B2C point of view about setting up an e-commerce business and making it really easy to use that site are important from a B2B point of view as well, with this added layer of complexity around different pricing, different payment methods, etc., that I'm sure we'll get stuck into in a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going off script now. Quick question: can you still do things like, you know, the offer side of things? Like when I go
Yeah.
on and I have promo codes, or there's a 3 for 2 offer, and that sort of there's a mix and match offer. Is that still possible through B2B?
Yeah, it's interesting because I think back in the day of B2B transactions, that would be something that you would not really typically discuss. You would perhaps have like a negotiation with a sales rep or something to try and like get a free something thrown in because you're putting a specifically big order through. But yeah, no, that's absolutely something that is coming up more and more, is this idea of like order level discounting and be able to mix and match different products and get a free thing. Quite a common
Yeah.
example actually is like, if I buy the starter pack, for example, I want to get a free stand for my point of sale area so that I can put the products on it. And those types of things
Oh,
are very common
brilliant.
from a B2B point of view.
Yeah, in my head, the example that keeps coming up in my head is like beverages, because I always think of
Mm,
maybe perhaps my time working in sort of bars and pubs was when you had to call up to make massive orders of whatever drinks, that sort of thing. But then we work with people like Beavertown, who of course sell to a lot of businesses. You know, it's stocked in bars and
yeah.
pubs all over the UK. So are there any other examples then of how B2B platforms can make their experience more B2C like? I know you've covered quite a lot there.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose just having a simple to use website is something that's really important because you typically have a lot of information on the product pages. So you may have things like pack sizing information, discounts based on the quantity that somebody orders for that specific product, and also in combination with things like you just covered, like order level discounts or order level free gifts and things like that. So there can be a lot going on a B2B page. It can be quite a lot of overwhelming information if you don't quite get it right. So I would focus more, if I was going to take something from the B2C like experience, it would be not making the pages too busy and making it so that it's easily understandable and easy to understand like what price you're actually getting for that product and how many of them you have to purchase in order to get whatever the next price might be. And focusing more on that side of things more than perhaps having offers all over the place and like making it
Mm.
all singing or dancing like jazzy carousels and all of that kind of stuff is possibly less important from a B2B side.
Yeah, I can understand. I love a jazzy carousel, but I get it.
I
Okay,
know
brilliant.
we all would miss them, but
We would, we would. So, uh, as kind of we've discussed, how have B2B buying expectations changed? How can hybrid e-com stores stay competitive, kind of, and win business?
yeah, I think if you're a B2C customer and you're B2B customer, or if you're a B2B business with a B2C function, there's a ton of benefit in going hybrid. So it means that you can have all of your inventory in one place, you can have all your product information in one place, and then you can have one theme basically to manage from a front end point of view. So you don't have to manage two websites. So B2B customers can log in, see all of their relevant information without having to navigate to a separate store. The obvious pitfall of this is that obviously if you want a completely different experience for B2C customers and B2B customers, which some people do want, they want to have like a totally separate wholesale side of the business. It's kind of harder to accomplish from a hybrid point of view. So that's something that needs to be considered. But yeah, it's a good way to stay competitive. It's something that it means that you can stay pretty lean in terms of your setup. You've got less things to manage. And I guess it means that you can drive a lot of efficiency by having one website, one set of products, one set of images, one set of SKUs, drawing from the same inventory, et cetera, but just displaying that different price and different payment options for B2B customers.
Brilliant. Thank you. And I've realised I've skipped over the omnichannel bits. And omnichannel, as of November last year, where we did an event on it, I had no idea what it meant before that. So I'm now an omnichannel expert. Finally, something I understand.
Thank God, someone's an
Thank
omnichannel expert around
goodness,
here.
it's me. I'm the expert. So B2B buyers now expect a seamless experience across online and offline channels. How can businesses develop effective omnichannel strategies to meet these demands?
Yeah, omnichannel, it's such a word that like people
Such
I
a
think it
word.
means such a word. Let's just leave it at that. I think a lot of our customers continue to have growing sales teams, and when you think of omnichannel from a B2B point of view, it possibly means something slightly different to the B2C point of view. Not going to try and talk about omnichannel as a definition in front of the omnichannel expert, but I guess
I am the
when
expert.
when you're managing a lot of different channels from a B2B point of view, one of them will be an offline sales team, and some customers will continue to order offline. Doesn't matter how good your website is. If you've got a mass of B2B customers that have been ordering from you that way for a long time, they will still want to interact with the sales team, and they still want to do that. And that's fine. Some sales associates have great rapport with customers. They've built relationships for a long time, so they might not want to use the website. So all of that is to say that having functionality for your sales reps to be able to add orders easily to the same location that your self-service orders go, that means that you can get a whole view of your B2B channel, how it's all performing, and you can kind of make the most of both sides of the coin there as well. You can also benefit from things like bulk adding items to the cart via a spreadsheet. As a sales rep, that means that if a customer still sends you the order in a spreadsheet to your email, it just makes it super easy to be able to then just add that all to the cart, drop all the items in, and then just be able to go from there. And then I guess the final bit on the omnichannel side is that some of our customers do have brick and mortar stores. They do have trade depots and warehouses where you can kind of collect products from there as well. So some of our customers will be doing like in-store reps will be able to like barcode scan products and add them to the cart and things like that. So the key thing really is that you can tie a lot of different things together, but making sure you've got the right price when that customer is wherever they are, basically.
Yeah, got you. Okay, fab. And what would you say are some of the main challenges that businesses face when implementing omnichannel approaches? How can they overcome those?
Yeah, I think kind of goes back to data, and I always bang on about this point whenever someone brings up omnichannel. But like data is possibly the most essential part of it. It's true of any omnichannel approach, whether B2C or B2B. But I guess to give something more specific on the B2B side, you'll need to make sure that your customers have the B2B specific pricing data ready, whatever channel that you're looking to sell to them on, or that they're looking to purchase on. So to put that at a real world example, if I was to log onto the website, I might have a different price to the price that you might pay as a B2B customer, Rose. So when I log onto the website, I'm going to need to see the relevant price to me, but that also needs to be true if I go into a store, or if I go to a trade depot, or if I call up my sales rep, I need them to be able to quote me on the right prices and things like that as well. So data is absolutely key. A B2B specific version of that is the right data of pricing and the B2B specific pricing data. But yeah, I think if I could give anyone any advice on omnichannel, it's make sure that you've got your data in a row.
Yeah, Got you. Okay, brilliant. Cool. Just pausing here to say that if anyone has any questions who's dialed in, please do feel free to submit them. I've got my lovely colleague Caitlin who's going to monitor them and send them my way should any come up. But I have some pre-submitted questions here as well. So
Cool.
I'm gonna wing it. I'm not even gonna do a Q&A. I'm just gonna have them as we go. Because I want to crack on with the next question, which is that commercially, are there any benefits to going hybrid?
Yeah, I think as we talked about, it's mainly the fact that you've got one website to manage. So of all of the things that are a benefit, I suppose to give a definition on hybrid, it's literally having one website where you can do both B2C and B2B. So there's obviously efficiency in having one website to manage. It means that you've got all of your stuff in one place. You can manage that stock, that inventory, those product descriptions, images, all of those things in one place. So that means it's really, really straightforward and often the starting point for a lot of businesses. So for those customers that we work with that has historically have been purely B2B, but perhaps have got a direct consumer website, they can easily add on some online functionality to that website. It makes it really quick. So there's an efficiency there in terms of speed of deployment and things like that as well. Makes it really easy to add something to what you've already got from a website point of view. And then likewise, the same is true, obviously, if you're already a B2C customer, you'll want to add B2B functionality to that as well.
Got you. Which that flows beautifully onto my next question is how do B2C stores know they're ready or they're suitable for hybrid B2B?
Yeah, interesting one. I think, well, pretty well any B2C store could be suitable for hybrid. So like there's very few websites that I would look at, particularly if they're on Shopify or BigCommerce, and go like, "Ah, that's terrible for hybrid. That wouldn't work." There's not really any reason that would be the case. Knowing when you're ready is probably all about whether you've discovered a market for B2B for your products yet, and that might be going and attending a trade show and driving up some interest from that point of view. It could be anything from that perspective as well. But yeah, I suppose once you know that you've got a bit of demand for B2B, perhaps you've already got a few customers that are ordering from offline methods, then adding a B2B layer to your existing website is a straightforward thing to do.
Got you. Brilliant. Thank you. And looking at the future of B2B e-commerce, what are the most exciting trends and technologies, apart from you, shaping the future of B2B e-commerce? So things like AI, automation, personalization, that sort of thing.
Yeah, AI always comes up, doesn't it? Like it's such a hot topic in so many ways. Um, I think we're going to see more like AI kind of co-pilots helping sales teams and things like that from an ordering point of view. Your customers have ordered this amount of stuff previously. This is their typical sort of buying cycle. It's time to reach out to try and get them to order again. That kind of thing will be pretty common. But then also you see technologies like Nibble. Nibble's brilliant. They're starting to do a lot more on the B2B side of things. Negotiation naturally is a thing that comes up in B2B all the time anyway, and Nibble is literally an AI negotiation tool. So the two things go hand in hand pretty well. So I think we'll start to see more and more of those types of things flow out across B2B as well. So, and then around personalization, I think just more of the things that you're often seeing from a B2C point of view, that really, really granular personalization that has been something that has been, a picture of B2C e-commerce for a long time now. I think that will start to then layer into B2B as it gets served up in more simple ways.
Fantastic, thank you. I can see there's some comments going on. It looks like my colleague Ricardo has been answering some of those, which is great because he's far more knowledgeable than I am. What a guy! So, how can businesses prepare for and leverage these trends to stay ahead of the competition?
Yeah, I think part of it is just taking an assessment of like, have I discovered a B2B market today? Have I got some customers already that are asking me about this type of thing? Is it enough for me to try and add this to my website so that I can make it as efficient as possible now? So I think part of that is that, and then again, like preparation. I always come back again, and I'm going to say it for a second time around the data side of things. So if you want to prepare yourself for B2B, having an understanding of your customers, what kind of pricing structures you've got, what kind of tiers and groups they go into, what typical payment methods you would want to offer those customers. Those types of things would be would stand you in good stead, and help you get started really quickly. And then I guess in terms of staying ahead of the competition, things like AI and those types of things, there's so much of it that is super accessible these days. So I'd just try it out and see if it works for your business.
Fantastic, thank you. Yeah, it's really interesting. I see it more and more now that like there's the technology behind so much that happens is so exciting and so much more accessible than it used to be. And now people can expect a certain experience when they go onto any website. So yeah, it's exciting to see that happening in the B2B space as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, brilliant. So I'd like to open up to the audience if they have any questions. If you do and you've put them on the chat, my colleague Caitlin is going to send them to me. And in the meantime, we had some questions that were sent prior to the webinar. So if you're happy for me, Alex, to run through those, if that's
Yeah.
okay. Perfect. Cool. So the first one is, what are some of the biggest mistakes businesses make when trying to replicate B2C experiences in the B2B space? I assume
That's a
that would be things like change, you can save £2.50 on this order if you do this, and businesses
yeah.
just
There's
don't care.
there's a couple of things that come to mind. Actually, you raise a good point on saving £2.50. One of the things that is common in B2C is that if you add more things to the cart, you likely will get free shipping. The opposite is kind of true with B2B. If you add more stuff to the cart in B2B, like you're often adding a lot to the cart such that you end up with a pallet's worth of stuff, or potentially more than that. So actually what tends to happen in the B2B space is that you don't really want to offer free shipping if someone's ordering a lot, because it's then really, really bulky to try and send those items. So you
Sure.
actually want to increase your shipping price, and it's pretty common that you will charge the customer for that shipping as well. And you might even confirm it after the order has been placed, because you need to go and get a quote for the shipping, such as the size of the products, for example. So the shipping side of things is something that trips a lot of people up, because it's really, really common that you would have a different B2B shipping rate versus B2C. But yeah, it's something that that not everyone thinks about. And then I guess just in terms of another common mistake, and this is actually drawn from, again, another webinar that I was on the other day, but Chris Gee from the B2B Ecommmerce Association was talking about this. And what he said was that in B2B, you're actually trying to win an account rather than just win a customer. And so you want to try and get that customer on board. You want them to, become a repeat purchaser. The type of customer that you're selling to and the type of transaction and ongoing relationship you're trying to gain with that customer is actually quite different to what you're looking at from a B2C point of view. So there's a lot to replicate from a B2C perspective when you're running a B2B site, but you're also trying to garner a long-term relationship such that someone will replenish and order that stock to kind of sell again and again. So the information that you might want to show to a B2B customer could be slightly different from that point of view than B2C.
I guess it's a lot less of an emotional purchase as well, if you're just kind of trying to drive down the numbers, and like the pence difference they can make when you're ordering thousands of products can make such a difference. Whereas, for a B2C, I guess it's very much calling to their emotions as well as the cost.
Correct.
It makes such a difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant. And what emerging technologies or trends do you see having the biggest impact on B2B e-commerce in the next few years? And any suggestions on how businesses can prepare for them?
Yeah, I think we touched a little bit on the AI side of things already, so that's definitely one that I think is an important one. And I suppose just more of this type of technology will start to flow out. More things like SparkLayer, frankly, that make it really straightforward to add on B2B functionality to an e-commerce store. And the ability to handle just more complex things as you grow your B2B world, basically. So when I talk about that, I mean integrating with things like accounting systems and being able to produce invoices, and really easy be able to manage things like credit and stuff like that are often very complicated and quite you can really get into the mire with with trying to manage those when you're running a B2B business. So I think it's less of like are there like really advanced things that are going to be happening, and more of how much of the stuff that is still happening offline from a B2B transaction point of view will start to come online. And there's probably a little bit of a way to go in terms of bringing more and more of that stuff online.
Okay, got you. Brilliant. Thank you. And Okay, so I'm going to throw in. I'm going to leave the audience to ask any further questions. But before we wrap up, can I ask you? So first of all, curveball question: do you have an example of a customer you guys have worked with that is like one of your favorite examples of how implementing SparkLayer has really helped them? I always I ask this question whenever I'm on partner calls anyway, because it's nice to hear a nice story, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, we've got quite a few actually. I think Ennis Fabrics is quite a good example of ours. There's a case study of them on our website.
Okay.
They're a massive wholesale supplier of fabrics to all kinds of different businesses, but they've been a really good customer of SparkLayers for a long time. And they've just got a mass market of lots of different suppliers that they sell to, tons of different fabrics, and they just make the most of a lot of different functionality within SparkLayer. So that's been a really good example. And then yeah, I think there's a ton of others. I mean, we've literally got customers from all over the world in like tons of different industries. T-Pigs is another really good example.
Oh, I love
What
tea pigs. I only use them for
That's such good
guests.
tea. Yeah,
Yeah,
such good
I
tea.
see
We
my
have
partner sometimes dipping into tea pigs round. No, absolutely
no,
not. No, no.
no.
Those are reserved for posh friends. No.
Well, if I ever come round and I don't get the tea picks, then I know I'm not a posh friend.
Sorry.
Oops. But yeah, so tea pigs is a really good example. What's interesting with them is that they obviously sell to like massive supermarkets like Sainsbury's or whatever, like big supermarkets like that. Other supermarkets are available, but I can't think of one right now. And they don't do that through SparkLayer. So they've got a direct integration into their ERP. They use something called EDI, electronic data interchange, to process all of those orders. But all of the independent cafes that they sell to still need to replenish their TPIG stock. They still need to do that at a reduced price compared to the B2C side of the business. So they've got a hybrid website where someone can log on. You and I could buy tea for our posh friends, and then cafes can replenish all of their stock of tea as well at a slightly reduced price for them. So they're serving lots of different markets, even in the B2B space, with slightly different solutions. And we just tailor one for one of those.
Okay, Alex, if you want to become one of my real posh friends, you need to get me the B2B logins for T-Pigs so I can order them en masse. And then you guarantee you come around my house, you can have your select on T-Pigs. You can have all of them. I'll be buying them for 20p. It's fine. You can have as many as you like.
I'll see what I can do.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Awesome. So if anyone wants any more information on these sort of things, are there any recommended blogs or articles or resources that people
Yeah.
can go to that you'd suggest that people following this call delve into a bit further?
Yeah, for sure. So it would be remiss of me not to mention our own micropaper. So you can download our micropaper. There's some really good tips in there from tons of our partners, including Quickfire. So you can come in and download that, have a look through there. There's also the Quickfire blog. There's a ton of info on there. I think we've even done a guest post on
Thank
there
you.
as well. So that's a good place to go in there, check a few bits out. And outside of that, I would definitely recommend checking out the B2B e-commerce association. There's a ton of useful resources on there. Chris, who runs it in the UK, and then Brett, who's out in Australia. They're both super knowledgeable guys that you can get a lot of information on. I'm pretty sure they'll hop on a call with you and give you some advice if you needed it as well. So for a slightly more independent view, that would be my suggestion.
Fantastic. I've just had a question that's come through. Any consumer electronics brands you've worked with before?
Yes, although I don't know if I can talk about them, but yes, we do have some consumer electronic brands that we work
Okay.
with.
Cool, fantastic. So, any questions around those, reach out to Alex. And so, I guess to wrap it up, then, it would be great to know where people can find out more about SparkLayer and how they can get in contact with you directly.
Yeah, so if you want to find out more, you can go to sparklayer.io. That's our website. There's a ton of information on there about the products, where we integrate, the types of customers that we work with. You can book a demo through the website through there, or if you want to email me directly, you can get me at alex.weston@sparklayer.io.
Fantastic. Oh, just the questions that's come through here. Could you share the name of the fabric store?
Ennis Fabrics.
NS Fabrics. Okay, fantastic. Is that N for November?
Yes.
Fantastic. Cool. There you go. Perfect. Thank you so much. Any case studies from that? Do you have a case study for it?
Yeah, there's one on our website, but I'll ping it over and then I'm sure we can send it out afterwards.
Perfect. Cool. Fantastic. Well, we've got someone asking here a question. So if you would like to contact me following this webinar, I can share that case study with you directly. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Were there any other questions from the audience? I'll just pause for a second. I do have a habit of wandering off and people have questions and I don't answer them. I think we're good. Perfect. Thank you so well, Alex, my first ever
I
webinar.
know.
This has been so much fun. I have loved it. And thank you for looking after me and answering everything so perfectly and being so knowledgeable. I'm still the omnichannel expert, but you seem to be the expert in everything else.
Rose, thanks so much for having me, and congrats on your first one.
Thank you very much. And to anyone who's dialed in, if you'd like to see more of these webinars, please do follow our page. Ecomm Engine is an ongoing webinar series. We work with a lot of really exciting tech companies all over the world, and we're going to be bringing you more content, more articles, more white papers, and more webinars. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And thank you, Alex.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.